I'm Mary.
Hi, Mary. And what's your last name, Mary?
Thomajan.
And have you, sorry, where are you from?
Well, I've lived all over the world, but primarily from Austin, Texas last.
Austin, Texas? Mm-hmm. Okay, and where are some of the places that you've lived?
Oh, gosh, my father was military, so we were all over the planet, but Istanbul as a child, and Thailand, and various parts of the United States.
Well, that's interesting.
Traveled
I was
widely.
a career Marine, so
There you are.
that's one of the ways I got into all of this.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to just have a conversation about your life experience living overseas. Are you married or single?
Single.
And do you have children?
3 boys with my ex-husband, but they're not, yeah.
And where are they now?
They're in Texas and Philadelphia.
Okay, so they're all grown up?
Yeah, oh yeah, families of their own.
So you're pretty independent liver
Very.
at this point. And what are their ages, just roughly?
That's a good question. I can't remember all the ages right now. They're in their 30s. They're in their 30s and 40s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And so are you retired now or working?
For the most part. I'm an artist, so we never retire. Yeah.
And what kind of art do you do?
Painting, sculpture, prints, drawings,
Oh, great.
jewelry, interior design, you name it.
You're still doing it actively here?
Not so much in Ecuador. Not yet.
And do you rent or have you bought here?
I rent. You know, the first year here is sort of spent in the spin of getting settled and finding places and resources and getting visas and all that business. So it takes a while.
Yeah, absolutely. And so how long have you in total lived overseas, do you think? And how long have you lived here?
I mean, all my life. I've lived here 1 year, but I've traveled widely. I traveled with my family and then with my ex-husband, who was an international attorney, so we were all over the planet too. So, yeah.
So why do you choose to live overseas now?
Couple of reasons. I just I couldn't really handle the energy in the States anymore. It was getting too frenetic and too driven and too sort of stressful, frankly.
Yeah.
And I just didn't want to live in that space. So I came down here on a lark with a friend and sort of fell in love with Cuenca and thought, well, this will be a place to hang out for a while and sort of skip that party if that's hopefully going to end in the States anytime soon or get better. But I still like the United States, and it's also very inexpensive. You can have a very nice lifestyle here for the same.
And how is the social life here from your perspective?
It's pretty active. There's a lot of women, not so many men, which is a bit of a downside for us, you know, that are still young and single. But there's always plenty to do. I mean, I have to say no a lot.
Okay.
You could go. You could be out every night this week if you wanted. You know. Yeah.
And you could if you wanted to.
If
be
you
out
could,
every night.
yes.
What prompted you to actually take the step to move abroad?
Well, as I said, I've lived abroad a lot of my life, so it's a comfort zone for me. It's not a big deal. And a lot of people have trouble just like getting out of the United States or envisioning themselves somewhere else. I'm not like that.
Okay.
So I sold my home and was just hanging out, and as I said, I came down with a friend and we sort of fell in love and thought, oh, cool little place, you know. So
It is a pretty neat place.
yeah,
Pretty turned on to it.
I know, it's really awesome. Has a lot going for it.
So, what challenges do you, as an expat, face yourself, or do you think others face living overseas, and especially here in Ecuador?
I think the biggest challenge for most Americans is sort of an American-centric point of view, where, you know, the expectation is it'll be like that anywhere else. And of course, every culture is different. It has its own idiosyncrasies. And so that adaptation, when you move into a new culture, I'm used to it, but I hear a lot of people complain about the fact that, you know, there's just cultural differences. I mean...
Well, and of course, that's a lot of people come to be in a different environment.
Exactly.
And they try to recreate the environment
yeah.
they've been before.
So it's just best to kind of be open to the culture and sort of be a guest in the country until you figure out what's going on, and then kind of make your choices, you know.
So would you say that that's probably the greatest challenge or issue that you personally... And
the one that comes up over and over and over is the accountability factor. You know, Americans are very much on time, keep our agreements, make appointments, make goals, make
Right.
plans, plan ahead. Ecuadorians, nada. They live in the moment. They're going to show up when they want to. It may not be convenient for you. I mean, mañana doesn't mean, you know, tomorrow. It just means not today. Maybe not in your lifetime, you know. So you just have to really be flexible with that one. And that's our big stumbling block.
And adapt to.
And it's hard to do
local
business on that
culture.
basis because you have to make plans and goals and have, you know, sort of a strategic plan to do business. And that just isn't the way it happens. They kind of shoot from the hip down here. And, you know, in that way, it's still a little bit of a banana republic. Yeah.
How's your Spanish?
It's getting there. I'm learning, you know. It takes a
You say
while.
You're fluent?
No,
or just
not even. No,
Okay.
definitely a beginner.
beginner in Spanish?
It takes a while to learn a language.
Oh, absolutely.
It does.
It's taken me forever.
It takes a couple of years to really learn a language,
still
and
haven't
that's
learned it.
consistent effort, and I haven't been consistent, so.
Yeah, I think for some of us who've lived in a lot of different places, you know, you learn a little bit. of a
That's
lot of
the
languages.
problem. I was always speaking the last language in the new country, you know, because your brain kind of goes back to the last file, and
And I find myself using Arabic words
exactly.
for Spanish.
I know. It's funny how the brain works that way. It pulls the last file. Yeah.
So, what do you think are the best things about living in another country? And again, specifically this one, but in general.
Well, in general, well, you know, it's hard to say in general because every country is so different.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Ecuador. I think it's an extraordinarily beautiful country. The people are incredible. They're very, very kind and heart-based, and they care about each other, which is something I think we've lost a little bit of that in the States. We don't. It's pretty narcissistic up there, and people are kind of every man for himself. And here, people look out for one another, and that's a really nice feeling. You know, you feel a bit cradled here.
In the expatriate community. And
No, I'm talking about the
general support
Ecuadorians.
system. Oh,
Yeah,
in the Ecuadorian
absolutely,
community.
absolutely. That was the first thing that impressed me about Ecuador was the quality of the people, the quality of their hearts, the nature of the people, and they're very community based. They're very family based. They just care.
Yeah, that does seem to be something that we've lost a lot of in the States, that old
Yes.
sense of community.
Exactly, and people are starving for it. They're hungry
Yeah.
for it. You know.
And I know the people I've talked to here so far seem to feel very good about that part of the experience.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wonder, you know, I hope as Ecuador gains more sort of, as it becomes a wealthier country and more economically stable, I hope they don't lose that, because that is one of the beautiful things about the people.
That may depend on how many Americans
Yeah,
invade the country.
let's hope we can adjust to their ways in that respect.
Is that the advice you'd give to people? Is try to
Definitely.
adjust to the local culture?
Definitely. Oh, always, always, always.
Can you share a story or an episode that illustrates maybe the best thing about your experience in Ecuador?
Wow, let's see. I guess what I really notice is that, like, if you fall, I fell in the street, you know, because the streets are really dangerous here. I mean, they're just real uneven, and anyway, it's easy to slip. And so I did, and I mean, people rushed they just rushed over to make sure I was okay, and these are Ecuadorians and strangers. So there's that sense that no matter what happens, you're going to be all right here.
Okay.
You know, and the doctors, amazing experiences with the doctors. They treat you like a person. You're not a number. You know, you have a name, and they spend hours with you if necessary, and they're very personable. They call you at home to check up on you the next day. It's really quite amazing.
Can you
So
tell
that
me a
sense
little
of
bit more
care.
about that, as far as what you think about the competency, and do you have some kind of local health insurance? Or how
I
does that work?
don't. I don't have health insurance. It's so inexpensive to pay out of pocket for whatever you need here that it's almost like, why have insurance? You know, because I'm a healthy person. I don't ever need a doctor. I just happened to go in to get my ears cleaned one day, and I ended up with a specialist, an ENT specialist. He spent an hour with me, did a great job on my ears, showed me all the pictures of his paintings and his horses, and charged me $20. You know, so it's like, who needs insurance? But everybody I've known who's gone in for this or that or a surgery or whatever has had a very positive experience here. Very positive.
And you obviously had preparation in the sense that you've lived in other cultures, so you know about culture shock. And,
Yeah.
You know how how to relate to people in a different culture.
And I'm not saying I still don't suffer with that some, you know. I mean, I get frustrated sometimes.
Okay, well, we all do.
Yeah.
Did you have any other kinds of preparation or orientation before you moved
No.
to this culture?
It was really just a spur of the moment thing.
Okay.
I just kind of
So
did
you
it.
didn't
This is a
start
real lark.
studying, a lot of history or...
No. I didn't know anything about Ecuador when I came down here.
Okay.
It was just, yeah, it was kind of crazy, but...
Do you wish
but
you had more
No,
background, or
no.
It's okay to learn it as you go.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm not a researcher so much, you know. I wasn't really setting out to move
Yeah.
from the United States. I was just in a place where my life had shifted and I didn't know what was next.
Ready to
And
move
I
on.
just said, you know, I don't own a house right now. I'm footloose and fancy free. I'm just going to go down and visit a friend in Ecuador and see
Yeah.
what that's like. And wow, it was,
Worked out.
yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
So do you have a most interesting story that you've experienced or you've heard about, about Americans living in this culture? Somebody's dramatic stories or gossip, dirt, whatever?
Oh gosh, you know, you're putting me on the spot here. I'm trying to think. I don't. I'm afraid I don't. I'm sorry. I'd have to think about that one. Yeah.
So what advice would you have for other American expatriates considering to move overseas? And that could include things about housing, or realistic expectations.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think you need to have realistic expectations. If people are really planning a move to a foreign country, they need to do the research, they need to get their boots on the ground and talk to people, come down, check it out, not take the advice on the internet because most of it's wrong.
Okay.
And, you know, really come experience the culture firsthand. Spend a month. Come check into a hostel or a hotel and stay a month. That's what I did.
Yeah.
And I kind of stuck my toe in the water. I came for a week, then I came for a month, and I came for 6 months. And during that period, I went ahead and extended with permanent visas and
How
such.
long have you been here now? You lived
A
here?
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little over a year.
Is there anything else you'd like to comment on related to the experience of living overseas or about this culture?
I just think every American should go somewhere, move somewhere else every 5 years. It should be part of the curriculum in the schools, really, because it is so expanding to live in other cultures. And we get like this, you know, and it's just really good to be able, we're all one people anyway, you know, we're a global village, so to experience some of that and realize that we're all connected, I think it's very important.
Well, as a
There'd be a lot
philosopher-
less war if we had more of that,
Really,
you know?
I agree.
Seriously.
Good point.
Yeah.
There's a philosopher by the name of Gadamer, I think he's a French philosopher, who talks about how living abroad broadens your horizons of possibilities. So
Absolutely.
You see the world differently.
You really do.
And that's a blessing, but it can also be a curse in the form of, like, if you try to go back and live in the States after experiences more peaceful or more or anything else.
There's re-entry shock.
Yeah.
It's true. I get sticker shock every time I go home. Wow, I can't believe what things cost there. I'm like, wow, are you kidding me? So, yeah.
And it doesn't take long to go up.
We get really spoiled down here because everything is pretty nice and pretty inexpensive. Yeah.
Well,
Still.
thank you so much for taking the time to,
My pleasure,
to talk to us.
Craig.
And
Yeah.
I'm sure that your experience will be enjoyed by other people.
Well,
and
good.
hopefully we'll all learn something.
All right.
Thanks
Good luck
again.
to you.
All right,
Okay.
Good luck to you too.
Ciao, ciao.